What's going on? What's going on? This is for this is a 2012 Altima SR. So it's a 3.5 SR with the CVT. This is just a video. This should work for a Maxima, really anything around 2012 with the V6 3.5. This is I'm doing the coil packs and spark plugs on the back side of the engine, but you have to take the intake off to get a good access to it. Now for one, this will be right here. The air box will be right there. Pop that clip, and you take this hose off right here, and you unplug it. Flathead screwdriver to loosen up. This is where the throttle body would be. This is how I did mine. I took that out the way, and then I seen a wire harness attached to the throttle body plug, and I seen two lines. I'm assuming those are cooling lines, maybe idle air control. So I didn't want to take those off. So I just thought it was easier just to take the whole throttle body off. So once you move the throttle body out of the way, it's a line right here. If you can see it, if it'll focus. It's a line right there with a clamp. And then on the back side, you got a line right there and a line right here that goes into that nipple. But before you do any of that, you got a bunch of 10mm bolts. You got all the 10mm bolts and nuts that go to the intake, and then all these sensor solenoids. They're gonna be sitting on the intake like that, 10 mil. You got this air line right here, this vacuum line. Pull that off. You got that vacuum line, pull it off. You got this vacuum line, pull it off. And this line right here that this solenoid goes to, and this fuel line is sitting right there, and there you just popped it out with a Phillips head. But I took mines off. I unbolted the bracket and I took the lines and the solenoids off, because when I try to pull up, I'm pretty sure this line right here is either bolted to the intake or running to the intake. So I got all that out the way. Intake's loose. I just got to figure out the rest of the lines. They got to come off. I just thought I'd share that. I feel like it was way easier to just take the throttle body off. And then people might ask, oh, well, you got to put a new gasket. I'm just going to spray it with brake cleaner. I probably clean the throttle body out while I got it off. And I'm just going to reuse the old intake gasket, and I'm going to reuse the old throttle body gasket. And then right here, when I take lines off, I always take my pliers. This is a good pair to have. The 90-degree needle nose. Just a usual set of pliers. And then I have a straight 90. Not a straight 90, but I have just a straight pair of needle nose. But I like these lines kind of be like dry rotted on. So I like to take my pliers like that and twist on them. Kind of break that seal. But with these old vacuum lines, since they already pretty, I mean, it's just a vacuum line, so it's already kind of weak or thin. You tend to kind of tear them up if it'll focus. See, I tore that one up. And then you can see once you get to moving all this stuff around, see how that line's cracked? So just pay attention, because you'll go through all this trouble pulling off lines, pull the intake up, and then you'll hook everything back up, and then the car be running funny, throwing random misfire codes, and you'll be like, what's going on? When you took these lines off, these vacuum lines off, you broke them. So like this one has a lot of slack. So I probably just cut it. I probably just cut it right there and just stick it back on. And then like this one right here, it didn't take a lot of damage. It was easy to come off. But I just thought I'd throw that in there. I mean, if you like a super mechanic and you want to do everything once, before you even do this job, you might as well get a new intake gasket, new throttle body gasket. Get you about 2 or 3 feet of vacuum line. Get you an air intake filter. And I'm only doing this, I'm replacing spark plugs and coil packs. I only have one misfire on cylinder 3, but I'm gonna replace every spark plug and every coil pack on the backside, because I believe when you fix something, it puts more pressure on something else. So if I go through all this trouble and replace one spark plug and put it back together, and then it's still missing, must be the coil pack, then you replace the coil pack, and then it stops, and then 2 months later, now it's missing on the cylinder beside it, you might as well just replace all of it, be done with it. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so get your parts from wherever you want. Make sure they decent quality. I shop a lot on carparts.com, 1A Auto, and the typical chain local parts stores. When it comes to spark plugs, I'm a big Nissan guy, I'm a big Honda guy. I prefer NGK. If I'm Honda, Nissan, V6, 4-cylinder, turbo, whatever, I'm NGK. I'm a diehard NGK fan. That's the brand of the spark plugs. I don't like all that Autolite, Iridium, and all that. They just don't last to me. And I'm gonna do an oil change on it. I'm gonna just go and do a whole 9-yard spark plugs, coil packs all the way around, oil change. It wasn't throwing like a code for like a cam or mass airflow sensor, nothing like that. It was just, I think it was a random misfire, and then like a misfire on 3, which I have ran into this with the V6s. The cats will get stopped up on these Nissan V6s. The cats on the backside and the cats on the front will get stopped up. I've seen it more on the backside. They will get stopped up. But I mean, the car isn't smoking or anything like that, so I don't think the cats are stopped up. And then it's not like popping in the exhaust. So I really think it's just like a slight miss. Definitely worse once the car warms up. So I mean, it doesn't have a problem starting or anything like that. So I don't think the cats are stopped up. But we'll see.